Hello everybody. We have the black pieces against Zombie Shop, rated 1152, and we pre-move d6. We will play it even against d4. One of the advantages is that we will transpose a lot of the times into e4 because it's the most principled response from white, even if they're a Queen's Gambit c4 player. Because we didn't play d5, c4 makes a lot less sense. And so he plays d5. Interesting. So I'm going to put a pawn in the center and play e5. He doesn't take en passant. He just puts another pawn here. Interesting. However, he hasn't brought out any pieces. So I'm going to continue with f5, immediately striking the center with a pawn and creating some type of attack towards his king side. So he develops a piece, defends the pawn. Okay. I'm going to develop a piece and attack the pawn. It's hanging. He could take, but that develops our bishop. He pins the knight. No longer is there an attack on the pawn. Let's unpin the knight. The pawn is now hanging once again. We always have to consider this queen check, but we have g6 at the least. Now there's no more queen check. What the knight comes out and develops. I thought the pawn was hanging, but if you take with the pawn, you get a pawn, he gets a piece. You get a piece, he gets a pawn. But I could take with the knight, removing the attacked piece and picking up the pawn. So now I could take, he's up a piece for the pawn. So if I take this one, I'm hitting two things. He'll take this, I'll take this, he'll move his knight back, bishop out, we're better. Otherwise, I take the bishop, but then he recaptures and I don't win the piece back. So I have to take this way. He has to take my queen. Now he can't go here, which is nice. He attacks the pawn. I can only defend it with the queen to the side and the bishop. Queen to the side looks crazy right now. So let's go here. He can attack it again. But this blocks his bishop. It's a bit time consuming. And we can kind of castle. But we know we can't put our knight here. So we kind of have to put it here. We might want to make that move first. It leaves open queenside castling option. Let's just develop the knight. You could castle short too. He takes. Okay. We could improve our knight and threaten two things. He will likely take, and we take. And we have a nice bishop and a nice queen. And that looks good. If we start with castling, that looks good too. Let's castle. He castles long, so he's walking. We could potentially attack him at some point, but that's not really what's happening right now. We just need to get some type of nice advantage. I already like our position better. If we take the knight first and then jump the knight here, he has to move his queen, but no big deal. Also, this pawn is now defended by the rook. I'm still kind of partial to maybe moving my knight. Takes. How do I recapture? Maybe with a rook? Queen here. It's weird. Very weird. Takes, takes. That unlocks his bishop though. I don't want to unlock his bishop on purpose. I also don't want to spend a turn playing a6, although a6, b5 is an idea. I could reroute my knight. It's interesting. What else do I have? I have this check at some point if I take his knight. What does it really do though? Oh, what am I doing? Takes, his pawn's hanging. What am I, blind? It's like the easiest tactic in the world. Jesus Christ. I was so focused on the center, I forgot about, and his king, I forgot about this pawn. Yeah, my position's pretty solid. I don't have much loose except this pawn. So I feel comfortable doing stuff like this, and now I can double. Also, knight b6 is a temporary patch for the pawns, but can't believe it took me so long to see this pawn was hanging. It's just because I was looking at something else. So he moves the pawn, weakening his king. Terrible idea. Giving our knight a lovely square with tempo. Terrible idea. So let's take that square for free and improve our piece. He blocks his own bishop. You can play a5 to solidify the knight, or you can let him play this because it weakens his king further. So he moves the queen, attacks our rook. So there's no time for a5. So let's double. And our position looks very harmonious. And we're up a pawn. So we have our win condition, and we can try to trade and end the game. We could also try to checkmate him because his king is weird. But we need our queen in for that. So he moves the bishop so he can challenge my rooks. This does hang some pawns, but I already have my win condition. I'm not trying to play games, so I say let's get our queen in on the action instead. Super active square. Queen loves these h4 squares and h5 because it's in your opponent's camp and it controls so much. So he moves the hanging pawn, but I was never going to take it anyway. I just wanted to get my queen in. So I'm on material with rooks that are in. So I could trade stuff and we're winning. Because we just have a lot more piece activity. So our rooks are already in. He takes, but now his bishop's hanging. We have infiltration and knight support and a passed e-pawn. So you see, you don't need to complicate. Find your win condition and get out of there. So he hits the knight, which is currently hanging. We could move the knight back with a nice tempo move. I don't really see many alternatives. Yeah, so let's go here. We'll take the bishop and simplify our life. And then we can try to get two rooks on this way, horizontally, on the second rank. Which is where they love to be, because that's where, in the starting position, you have 8 pieces here and 8 pawns here. Pieces are generally hop out and go all over the board, so they're not at home usually. But there's always usually a few pawns left at home. And also it cuts off the king. Usually the rooks are on the back rank, so that's more protected. So the 7th is just a nice spot for your rooks to hang out. And now this guy's thinking, but okay, let me take the free bishop. I mean, it's not free, it's just a trade, but the pawn is free and I wanted to double anyway. So not only can I double horizontally, but I'm threatening his rook. And this is why you want your rooks connected. So he threatens my rook, but allows me to double. Now I have control over the file. My rooks are protected. He could try something like this, which is funny, because if you take, he takes. But black will always have a response to everything white does. Because he has a perfect position, white can't do anything. No weaknesses, no avenues of attack. So now he makes random pawn moves. Fine. Okay, let's, I guess, bring our mean, just bring our rook back so it's not under attack. That way we free our other rook to do whatever it wants. Okay, he's double stacking on a file that doesn't matter. I mean, we can now improve. We have infinite time to improve, so you can make a move like h5 and say it's your turn, and he'll eventually run out of turns, right? So you can kind of do what you want. So let's throw it in there just to show you. Now this freezes his pawns. So what I'm doing is I'm taking away legal moves from him, right? Because if he pushes, he hangs stuff. So if he can't move those pawns, right? He can't push this one. He can push this one. So let me show you this method. Let me take away that legal move from him. Now he has to move the rooks or the king. And so I'm slowly closing. It's not even like a real, like when you trap a piece, it's an actual geometrical thing. But here I'm removing his move resources, which is not so tangible. So anyway, he offers the trades of rooks, but I'm up 2 pawns, so that's just a completely winning king and pawn endgame. So we can accept it. We can start with moving our king in. He trades 1, we'll just keep this one active. He's gonna go for the second trade. Oh no, he tries to take the file, which is a good idea. We're gonna run our king up the board, and he has just tons of weaknesses. That's why I thought he was gonna go for the trade, but okay, so he tries to get activity from behind. It's a good try. I mean, yeah, it's a good try. I guess he should. Let's just hunt all of his pawns. Yeah, this is a good last-ditch effort by black. He's going to get behind and try to take stuff. But I'm going to take stuff before him, so he kind of loses the race. I guess we could just take this guy. Okay, let's just take free stuff. No need to think too much. Okay. I guess we'll just promote the H-pawn. That seems pretty easy. Okay, so let's go. Do we want to cut the king off, or do we want to go here, 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 here? I want to get my rook behind the pawn. I could also cut the king off and go this way. Yeah, let's cut the king off, because I have 2 passed pawns. Oh, he's still hunting pawns. I thought he was going to try to stop me. But if he's not even going to try to stop me, I might as well just push. Get a free queen. Okay, he's taking pawns, so this looks nice in theory. But in practice, pretty sure I'm going to get a queen. He's rolling them up the board. He's 3 away, I'm 3 away. But I have checkmating threats. What is this? Check. Here, he still can't go behind, so this is weird. Also, I could just take this. So I might as well just take it. I'm going to get the queen either way. Oh, okay. So we could just push. This isn't a threat. Because of check, and we can pick it up. If he tries to do this to defend it, we could check and pick it up. Here, we could... Okay, so check. Now we pick it up. And you see it look nice in theory, but it's about the quality of pawns. So we don't want to let him get behind the pawn. So that's why we don't attack the rook. So he gets in front. We just keep going because we can kick it with our king. He could try side checks, but okay, he goes this way. This is wrong. He should have tried the side checks. Okay, he's going for that pawn, but I mean, the game's over. You just go into Pac-Man mode. He's going to resign. He's not going to resign. I don't know why. He can't even approach the rook, so it's super annoying for him. Only if I push can he approach, so we're not going to do that. Now we don't care about the pawn. We just do a very simple ladder checkmate. And he wasted his own time that he could have been using analyzing the game, doing tactics, learning openings, or touching grass. So let's go over the game. We played d6 against c4, and he does this weird push. I don't know why people play like this. Just develop your pieces, but we go e5, just put a pawn in the center and create this triangle towards his king so we can attack it, which we like. Oops. Okay. We have 95 accuracy, 1 blunder. Blunder. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. That's not a real blunder. Because we were -7. Our blunder was from a mate to -7. That's fine. Anyway, let's go through the game. So we play e5, which is development and center. And then we have center. It's a little bit risky opening your king, but after you see this queen is not scary, you're fine. And you're going to have better development once you have the time to catch up. Okay, development and center. Development and center. And it's an even game. But I like black structure facing the king. Now, free stuff. Black is better. -0.7. He takes. Force move. We're up -1 because we stole a pawn. He takes, so force move. We recapture. He goes here. Now we're -1 if we can play accurately. So we do. We defend the pawn, development, and center. And this might look appealing, but it really takes a lot of time. Put the damper on the bishop. My bishop has a diagonal open if you take it. It's kind of just slow and weird. Development, center. And he takes the pawn. Now, king safety and development. He castles and it goes from -1 to -2.5. So I want you guys to like visually see, because you might just think, oh, he castles, normal move, I just keep playing, right? That's probably what most people do. But you have to see that he's castling into my bishop, into this open diagonal, into a pawn storm, but none of that matters because the most important thing is the open F file, and he's instantly hanging stuff because the king, most importantly, undefends the pawn. So that's why it's immediately bad, because the king undefends the pawn. But I was looking at ways to take advantage of the king and the center instead of the pawn. Eventually I came to the conclusion, you take the knight, you win the pawn, you win the game. -2.3. So we do this, and now he weakens his king side, and we go from -2.3 to -4.6. Twice as bad. One pawn move, twice as bad. Why? Makes my rook stronger. Now I have checkmate patterns. Make your king weaker. Makes your bishop weaker, right? So you just three things that don't make no sense automatically. Okay, so improving move for free. Improving move for free. All our pieces are in. Development or improving moves, center, and just tons of activity. It's just an improving move that hits the center and just lots of squares on your opponent's side. It just puts a lot of pressure. Okay, force move, force move, force move for free. Free stuff, -5. You can see how easy it is to win this. There's nothing to do. He has no counterplay. And if you want to play it even safer, don't let him do what I did and get that open file in the game at some point. So I just make a bunch of moves. I kind of just play around. Maybe he gets in zugzwang. Either way is easy to win for black. But yeah, I should have played this a little differently. Like here, I should have just traded everything. It would have just been easier. Because what I did in the game allowed him to do this rook f1, which isn't a big deal because it's -5. You're completely crushing. But you have to still play and let him do what I did in the game, take all the pawns. And I know a lot of you would be super scared about losing these 3 pawns, and you would start panicking right about here. So, yeah. And then if you want to be safe, you could just tuck your king back in and not give him these infiltration squares. But you also don't have to. And you can give him because that encourages him to go on the wrong side of the board. And it's hard to, if you're not experienced, it's hard to see how you can let him take this stuff. Like, isn't this what you need to win? How can you just let him collapse your position? But you can also, you know that these 2 pawns and this outside passer are fast enough. If you're not really sure, you can always do something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, it's like a 9 move process, which sounds like that's, you know, super dumb. 9 moves is forever in chess. But if you count his moves, right, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do. Maybe he takes more pawns, but his is also 9 or 10, something ridiculous. So that's one way to look at it, but you can always just play it safe. But as you see, once we take this stuff, right, we give him all this stuff, and now he really can't take these pawns, and he can't push because he needs to spend his turns. His king's cut off, so he has to take this rook and somehow get it behind the pawn. Or at the very least in front of the pawn, worst case scenario, but behind the pawn ideally. But it's not really going to work because I have plenty of things supporting the pawn. And even if he did try to go behind, you always have the option of pushing. And when he tries to do this, we get the king support. When he does anything, I mean, he can't even push these, but let's say he makes a king move. What was my plan? Oh yeah, you walk the king up, and if he doesn't do this in time with the rook behind, you always have like let's say he waits 1 more move. I don't know, this or whatever, or let's say he goes pawn hunting with check. Who knows? You push the pawn. If now for some reason he got behind, you have actually none of this works. The whole construction I was trying to show you, but it doesn't actually work, is this. You have this one thing where you get the rook behind, but every time I tried to show it to you, it was always 1 tempo off. What are you going to do? Anyway, very often when you're pushing a passed pawn and they can get the rook behind, you have this resource of blocking because if it's supported, just cutting off the connection. Moral of the story. Good luck in your chess. I'll see you in the next one.